And we were muted. We're live. What's up, everybody? It's Tyler with Hook Sets Are Free. It is Saturday night, June 24th. Hope everybody's doing well. This is kind of a last minute stream. I did not give anybody true fair warning about tonight's stream. So it might be a relatively short one, but it's been, I don't know, a week or two since I have shown my face here. So I just wanted to do the right thing and say what's up, let everybody know that I am okay. It's just been pretty busy for me. I was out of town last weekend with my wife, just getting away and spending some time for the two of us. And we had my wife's dad in town all week this week. So we are leaving tomorrow to go out of town to Florida, which is going to be super cool. Not a fishing trip. It's a family vacation. In fact, we're going to very northeastern Florida to a little place called Amelia Island. Not sure if you've heard of the place. I actually hadn't, aside from the fact that apparently I went there when I was 4 years old with my family. So, Brendan, already answering my question, and I appreciate it. That's going to be a little bit of a topic of conversation tonight. Frank in the house, first comment tonight. Good to see you on Debo's stream. I was not watching intently the entire time, but it was super cool to see you on the stream. And I loved you as a guest. So well done, sir. Daniel, what's up, my man? How you doing? Cheers. I'm drinking a little Breckenridge Brewery Funslinger Lager. Awesome little summer beer with some cool designs on the can. Awesome artwork, but cheers. I'm going to drink this beer kind of fast, and then we're going to move on to some bourbon that I've got down here. So hopefully it doesn't get too silly, but I'm also going to try and keep this stream not too long because I do need to pack my bag. So, Brendan, I'm going to address that soon, but you said Magnum speedworms, old monsters, chatterbaits, and soft swim baits. Okay, so I was already thinking big worms, probably either black and blue or June bug if I've got them. Maybe some variation of red as well. You tell me what colors you think are most appropriate. Obviously, June bug is kind of a staple down there, but I don't really know what types of opportunities I'm going to have to be able to go fishing. We shall see. But I did buy a travel rod to be able to bring with me in the event that I have an opportunity. So this is not the most affordable travel rod, but decided to pull the trigger on it anyway because it was a last minute purchase at Cabela's. This is the Fenwick HMG, and it's a travel casting rod. So that is a very rare thing when it comes to travel rods, is being able to find a casting rod that is a 3-piece. So here she is. Got a big cork handle and nice reel seat on there. And then this does come in 3 pieces and has 2 different tips that it comes with, which is pretty cool. So I'll show you those real quick. Here's the price tag, $150, but it's a 3-piece rod, and then it comes with 2 tips. So it's almost for certain that I'm going to use the heavier of the 2 tips the vast majority of the time, but let's see if I can show you how these 2 are rated. I thought the rating was right there on them, but one of them shows that it's a medium, so probably not going to be using that, and the other is a medium heavy. So I figure I should be able to use the medium heavy for pretty much everything that I do, but the ratings are actually on the base of the rod, and you can see here that the medium is rated for 1/4 ounce to 3/4 ounce, and the medium heavy is 3/8 to 1 ounce. So that is going to be the tip that I'm using pretty much the entire time. This is a 7-foot medium/medium heavy. And I'll keep you guys posted on the quality of the rod. It's supposed to be a decent rod, but it's not like I have super high expectations or anything like that. I just wanted something to be able to bring with me that would be serviceable. So did go out of my way to make that purchase today, which unfortunately is going to slow down what other purchases I might make throughout the rest of the month. Although obviously I'll probably pull the trigger on something during 4th of July, but as for like other JDM purchases, probably not going to make them. Frank says gator repellent, a 9mm, bath salts, Mickey Mouse ears. Yeah, not really going to do any of that. Just bring in a swimsuit and some t-shirts. And yeah, I'll probably hit some ponds in the neighborhood as opposed to do inshore or offshore saltwater fishing. I'm just going to try and do some freshwater bass fishing, but I don't know. Are the ponds saltwater? I assume that they are freshwater, but I'm going to bring 2 reels with me. I've got one spooled up with 50-pound braid and the other with 20-pound fluorocarbon. So should be able to do a little bit of a wide variety with that stuff. I was already thinking soft swim baits and big worms as kind of the go-to or most obvious presentations to bring, but I am definitely curious to know your guys' input. Tom Mix in the house. What's up, dude? How you doing? Yeah. Planning to bring Junebug. Megaforce, Mark, what's up? How you doing tonight, man? Yeah, Junebug and Black and Blue, Daniel T. I was definitely going to bring and am going to bring the old Megabass Uoze swimmer in the Black and Blue. This one I've had rigged up for the majority of this season. I've got a Black and Blue Z-Man Diesel Minnows as the trailer on that guy. I like the look of the action on it, and that's going to stay on there easily. I won't have to pack a bunch of smaller Black and Blue swim baits as a result. So that is definitely one that I'm bringing with me. Probably a couple Black and Blue chatterbaits, maybe the B Custom, but probably just a couple of jackhammers. Maybe another swim jig or a couple of just do everything jigs. Whether it's well, let's see. Do I have my jig box close by? Of course, I could bring like some bitsy flips. I could bring the Evergreen Grass Ripper in a Black and Blue. That would probably be a good idea. I don't have a tremendous number of Black and Blue jigs. Got like this cross eyes finesse jig from Z-Man. But yeah, I saw TK was talking about the old bitsy flip. I do like that jig. And we'll probably bring a couple of them, but I intend to throw like a Texas rig more than a jig, most likely, but we'll see about that. Caro in the house. Hit the like, y'all. Yeesh. Well, there's only 11 people in here, so I'm not too worried about it, but thank you very much, Caro. Appreciate it. Frank is everywhere tonight. He's the star of this Saturday night in late June. We love you, Frank. Yeah, I'm curious to know how the rod performs. At $150, it's a little bit steep for what it is. I've never been a Fenwick guy per se, so I like the fact that there's 2 different tips on there. Pretty rad. But again, given what I plan to be doing, I will most likely be throwing strictly that medium heavy tip. So No, don't unlike me, Frank. Don't do that. Oh, interesting. Danielle. Hey, Danielle. Danielle T. I don't think we've ever called him Danielle. That's pretty fun. Matt in the house. Surprise stream. Sweet. Makes work a little better. No problem, Matt. Hope you're having a good night. Enjoying work so far. Hope this makes the time pass just a little bit quicker. Man, as I'm drinking this beer, I wish I was already drinking bourbon. I'm tempted to like drink them simultaneously. Let me just go ahead and pour the bourbon while we're at it, guys. So again, I've got this cool um, Uncle glass that my sister gave me. Her baby is due like very soon. She went to Bali with her husband last month when she was like 32 weeks pregnant for their baby moon. I thought that was absolutely crazy and pretty late to be flying all the way around the world. Now, what I'm drinking tonight is Old Forester 100, and this is really good stuff. It's not super expensive. You know, I think I paid like 25 or 26 bucks for the bottle. So very affordable and delicious at 100 proof. It's got some really interesting notes in there that are both very sweet and then also a little bit fruity. So you get some orange and you also get like some brown sugar or brown butter. And it drinks really well neat. So yeah, TN, surprise stream. Woo whoop. Frank hasn't slept in 30 hours. Why, dude? What are you doing? Just because you've been fishing nonstop, slaying bass? Matt says some wake baits better be in the box. Yeah, I am going to bring one like 3,600 size box, and I'm not quite sure what hard baits to bring. You guys tell me, what hard baits do you think are most appropriate to be thrown in Florida? I was thinking shallow diving cranks, wake baits, top waters in the way of poppers, frogs, and perhaps like whopper ploppers. I did catch my first top water fish the other day on the old Berkeley Chapo 120. And it wasn't much bigger than this bait. Super silly, really ambitious little bass, but feels good to get, the top water bite going. It has been so funky here in Colorado this year so far. It turned summer like just a few days ago. Honestly, it has been a very underwhelming year so far. Not only did we have a record amount of snowfall this past winter and into the spring, but it has been an extremely mild and chilly spring. We hadn't passed 85 degrees once until this week. And most of the month of June, it's been like in the low 70s, and we've gotten rain almost every single day. So my waters have been dirty and it's been super rainy. So there haven't been a lot of opportunities for me to get out, but finally it's starting to warm up. So yeah, look at the size of this little dude that ate the Chapo 2 nights ago, right at around sunset, 8:23 p.m. And then I've been catching fish on like a really wide variety of presentations. So I would say that the drop shot has probably still been my standout because a majority of the fish that I've caught in the last month have been spawning fish, right? So the drop shot has been my most productive presentation, and I've probably caught the most fish on a drop shot on the Strike King Baby Z2, which I talk about all the time. I've been catching them on the Arkansas Shiner color, which is probably my favorite, the most natural, and on the straight chartreuse. But this is the Baby Z2. It's essentially the downsized version of the Z-Man Jerk Shads. It's a 3.75-inch bait, but cool thing about this one specifically in comparison to the Z-Man is that this guy has some salt in it. So it has a very neutral buoyancy and has an awesome horizontal posture in the water and looks very, very realistic, especially on a drop shot. So can't say enough good things about the bait, but last year and this year in particular on a drop shot, that has become like my go-to bait the vast majority of the time. Gold blade chatterbait in Florida, huh? I'm going to try and like catch up on comments while also talking about what I've been catching them on. I also caught I've caught a few fish on the Maxent flatworm on a drop shot. Caught my first fish on the little baby sized wattle bats. Caught a little spotted bass, tiny little dude. Ate the Amakatsu wattle bats. And then I caught a bunch of panfish on, the mule fishing donkey tail. I think it was the donkey tail junior even. But yeah, I've been catching fish on kind of a bunch of different things, just not my typical stuff. They haven't been eating a chatterbait all that well just yet. And I don't know if it's that my fish are starting to get conditioned to the fact that I love a chatterbait, but I've also just been playing around and throwing a bunch of different things. Caught a number of fish on just a standard Texas rig, with like a Z-Man goat, as well as a couple of other plastics. I've caught some on the Depths cover scat, and as you guys know, on the Geek Crack bellows gill. I throw those weightless, but yeah, I've also thrown the Z-Man goat toads around a little bit the last couple of days. Bring a wake or two, and poppers are very good this time of year. Got it. Any particular colors for hard baits? What do you think? Daniel, I don't. I know that is. Oh, purple haze spark shads. Yeah, I do, but I don't have. Maybe I do have a more natural colored uoze, but the spark shad, I do have the purple haze, my man. Now it's a 5-inch. Oh no, it's a Wakasagi color, but very natural. Let me put you on mute for a second. My 7-year-old is down here for a second. Brennan says a black and blue pitching jig. You could go with a white swim jig. Well, now you've got me going around a little bit. We'll see. I do like poppers. I threw around a popper last night a little bit. That was the Shimano, flash boost popper. I forget what they call it. World popper, maybe. What do you think? Should I bring this dude? The Z-Man Pop Shads? Or is that not worth it? Should I just bring a hard plastic popper? I know, dude. Oh, no, I didn't know that you caught a couple 4-pounders on the Woze. Well, Daniel's probably super proud of you. It has been such a solid bait for Daniel this year. Kind of crazy. That's got to be like your go-to or your favorite bait these days, right? Actually, I kind of like being able to switch between cold with the beer and warm with the bourbon. That's kind of nice. Yeah, I hear you, Frank. So was the Bass opener just like yesterday or something? You've been counting down for the last 3 or 4 months. Am I right? I remember you saying in the group chat that, only 83 more days till bass season or till bass opener. And it was kind of hysterical to see, but very happy for you that it finally is on, and that you don't really have to worry about your fish warming up, whereas in most places around the US, fish are in a funk from the winter. And so the first chance you get to fish, the bass are kind of still lethargic and perhaps not in a feeding mood. It's not the right season for them to be feeding up. But in Canada and in the northern part of the US, whether you live in Minnesota or Michigan or New York, a lot of those places that are frozen over throughout the winter and then open up a little bit later or do have a season like you, I would imagine that once it's on kind of straight out of the gate. So that's pretty sweet, man. Yeah, I don't know why Brendan gave it a shot, but perhaps not good enough of a shot, right? P70 or a hula popper deal. I don't throw a hula popper if we're being honest, but where them papas at? I was pulling out poppers the other day, so I don't know where I put them. Maybe the box is still out. Crankbaits, jerk baits, walking baits. Either way, I will find them. Here they are. Maybe I'll just pull the P70 out. Would you go straight bone, or would you go with like a shad pattern? Before you even respond, I'm pulling the bone out. But you think something that spits a little bit more aggressively and that has a big presence? Yeah, so it is called the World Pop 69. So I'd brought the other color pattern of that dude that I've got, as well as a Rico or two. Maybe I could bring the Lucky Craft G Splash. I mean, I'm still in love with this color. in the dual hardcore popper. This black and purple. It's so sick. This is an underrated popper with that weight transfer system. So maybe I'll bring that one as well. But yes, I am likely to throw poppers. I'll say that much. And I might as well pull the frogs out while I'm at it. My frog box is so full. It's been begging to be opened, and it hasn't been that season yet. But when I was throwing the Z-Man Goat Toads the other day, I was just I was feeling kind of froggy. I was throwing it into, beyond cattails because of the rain that we've had. Everything is flooded. And so normally the water only goes up to the edge of the cattails, and the water was like 20 feet beyond. The cattails are totally submerged, and I was able to make casts beyond the cattails and then bring it through the cattails. It was pretty sweet. I kind of hope that the water stays high like that. It gives me opportunities to fish those areas and catch some fish that have been buried down deep. But because of all of that, fish have been able to access very difficult to reach areas, unless I was punching with 2-ounce weights and things like that. And I don't even know where the fish would go or are hiding. But I think the bigger bass have found very unique spawning areas this year, where they've probably never spawned before because of the high water. So it's been kind of a dinky type of year for me. I think I've caught maybe one fish at 3 pounds, roughly. And most of my fish have been in the ballpark of 1.5 pounds. Now, I do catch a lot of 1.5 pound fish, but still kind of annoying. All right, everybody keep an eye out. Matt might do a live stream on Tuesday night. Devil's Horse would be good as well. Dude, take it easy. What about if I brought the Z-Man Hellraiser? I brought that out with me the other day and just didn't tie it on, because I transitioned straight from the Chapo that I had on to then the popper, and I wanted to try out the Hellraiser just to get a feel for its action, but maybe the Hellraiser would be a decent option. Frank says he was working until 4 a.m. and then headed out to fish opening day. Yep. Had to play chauffeur, then fish some more, then hung out with Debo and Dizzle. Nice, dude. Well, sounds like a busy yet good time. Get off of work, do some fishing, drive your kids around, family around, go do some fishing, join a live stream. Sounds like a deal to me. Don't bring any cranks. I know that the grass is going to be crazy. So when I say cranks, I mean super shallow cranks, right? It like super shallow. Anything, 2 feet and less, right? I expect that the grass will be high and be a very real thing. So I don't plan to even bring lipless cranks, let alone square bills and medium diving cranks, anything like that. I don't intend to bring any jerk baits, but wake baits and super shallow diving crankbaits were kind of where my head was at. If I'm gonna bring anything with a wobble that's going to dive subsurface at all. But Matt says I would say some baby 1 minuses could be good. Maybe those Lucky Craft BDS 1s. I don't know that I have the BDS 1. Do you guys remember? I thought I just had the BDS 2. Oh. Maybe I do have a couple. Yeah. Little BDS 1 action. That could be the deal. Got a couple BDS 1s. So I'll leave these out for now. Why not? And then I'll put them away later. You know, of course, I do have like some hybrid hunters and some 6th Sense swank baits that could work well in the grass or should work well in the grass. The Lucky Craft Moonsault shallow divers and the Jackal Aragon baits, but I don't want to bring too many crankbaits if we're being honest. The Fat Wrap from Rapala. Could bring the Shimano Bantam wake baits, the shallow divers. Got a couple of those. Or like a Norman Fat Boy or a 6th Sense finesse curve that dives really shallow. Or just like a Bomber Square A. But the other day I did buy, for some reason, we were in Colorado Springs for the day. We went to Garden of the Gods to do some family hiking. And on the way back, I stopped at a Bass Pro and just bought 2 things on clearance. They had a pack of those new net bait crush worms in the fat version. I didn't have any of those. Those were on sale for like $4.50 a pack. And then the Bomber Shallow A, which when I was looking at it, I thought it was the Square A, but the Shallow A, these were on sale for $2.97. So I don't know. I just bought one of each, got in and out for like $9 after tax. But this is the Bomber Shallow A, and is meant to dive like 0 to 2 or 0 to 1. Yeah, 0 to 1 feet. So barely subsurface. That could be a decent deal to bring. Little wake bait that will crank down just a hair. So maybe, I don't know. My brain is all over the place right now, but Tim Maynard in the house. What's up, dude? How you doing? Oh, the Teckle Wake Chatter. I was thinking of bringing some Zoom Flukes anyway. I appreciate that. But yeah, what about bringing this dude right here? The Blade Waker. That's not a bad idea, Matt. I have not really found a great time and place to throw this bait, but that could be a great idea. The Teckle Blade Waker. Deal. I'll put that in this pile of black and blue jigs. Sweet. Thank you for the recommendation. I would not have thought about that. So, right on. Really, Brendan? You love the topwater chatterbait, but you only hook 1 in 5. Why do you think that is? Is it because of the single hook as opposed to having trebles on the back? Do you think if you had a stinger hook that you might catch more fish on it? I haven't really given this thing the time of day. I've only got a couple of them and have maybe thrown it once. So, and I think that's partly because of the fact that it's attached via split ring. And historically, I have always thought that that's not a good thing. So I just haven't given it the appropriate attention. Tom says he thinks he would throw a hybrid hunter in the box. A hybrid hunter. You silly dude. Hybrid. HYBRID. So this month from Discount Tackle, I don't know that I've made a video. Maybe I did. And then separately, I told you guys when these guys came in stock. I picked up two from Discount Tackle. I picked up one in the rainbow trout color and one in the perch color. The rainbow trout one has been sitting in my car, still is. My wife has it at work. And then this is the perch color. And if you guys missed out, you missed out. You just weren't paying attention. For some reason, the hype has been very real on the Spro KGB Chad Shad this year. Everywhere that it has come in stock, it has gone out of stock immediately, and kind of crazy. So this is that perch color, and it's like a true matte perch. They call it ghost perch, but I gotta say, very good looking paint scheme. And if you've got perch in your bodies of water, this is a good one. It is ghosty, definitely translucent, but super cool looking. I definitely have some pictures of the trout pattern on my phone, and I'll show you that real quick. Because I brought it out with me a couple times not that long ago. It's ghosty as well. And very reasonably sized, you know. I would say it's a very appropriate size for what it is. I think it's going to be a great bait, but I have not really given it the time of day yet. I love the fact that it's got swiveling hook hangers. It's got a steep joint, so it is going to be most effective when thrown on or around aggressive fish, whether you're fishing it slow and chopping it or you're burning it and it's got that aggressive action. It's still going to be more of a warm water type of presentation, or at least a reactive style bait. And so for that reason, I have not thrown the Chad Shad or the Tiny Clash a lot just yet. But believe me, they're going to be in the rotation very soon now that summer is upon us as of this week. So here in the next couple of weeks, definitely in the next few months throughout summer, I'm going to be throwing those baits a lot. But yeah, Tom, I might think about a hybrid hunter. We'll see. I'm a little bit concerned about just how deep they dive. I think they make a hybrid hunter shallow, but I don't know that I have any. I think I've really just got the small size, the juniors, but they still dive some 2 to 4 feet. So I'm a little bit concerned about a bait going quite that deep. I think something that's going to dive subsurface as much as a foot or two is probably more appropriate. So something like the Lucky Craft BDS 1 or even the OSP Blitz SSR could be a good option. As I said, maybe the Bomber Shallow A or some other wake baits that can be cranked down just a hair. So that's kind of where my thought process is I'm gonna target top water and barely subsurface fish um, with hard baits. And then if I'm going subsurface, I'm gonna throw a chatterbait or maybe a jig of some kind, whether it's a swim jig, a pitching jig, maybe a Texas rig. But I am gonna be limited on inventory, on just how much stuff I can bring. So um, I haven't given it a ton of thought, and I'm leaving midday tomorrow. So we got to leave for the airport at like 10:30, and I got to figure it out tonight, pretty much. So I don't know that I'm going to bring a lot of swim baits, although I will definitely bring some mag drafts. I just don't know whether to bring standard mag drafts or to bring freestyle mag drafts, right? I mean, I've got them up here too, but probably freestyle so that I can go weedless and the hook is not an issue, right? And maybe the Bariki Sheds or the Beast Coast Miyagi swimmers instead, but or even the stealth swimmers could be good options. Now I'll wait to throw the Bass Mafia dangerous swim baits. Those don't pack very well, so we'll have to see about that. Brendan says colors for hard baits goes as follows. Anything with a white, gold, red, or chartreuse base, details won't matter. Soft bait colors go dark, June bug, white, or black and blue. White, gold, red, or chartreuse as the base. So this chartreuse could work. This red and gold could work. Okay. Deal. This is probably a little bit too natural, too clear. What's the other color that I have in this Blitz SSR? And where the heck is it? My desk is a mess. But that's nothing new, right? I'll find the other color that I have, because if you guys remember last stream that I did, I bought 2 of those baits. I'll find it at some point. Should I bring a rat? I mean, this will probably take up too much real estate in the box, but I could bring like the... Is this the 30 or the 40? This is the 40. It looks so much smaller without the original tail, but with how that tail got destroyed, I've had to improvise. So should I bring a rat? Or should I bring a crawler? Brendan, you said a devil's horse, but I'm sure I could bring the Nishini. This bait could be a good one that hasn't really gotten the time of day from me and is totally obnoxious on the water. I did throw it a couple of times last year, and boy, oh boy, is it loud. One, because of the props in the front and the back, but also because of that blade in the middle of the bait. Makes a racket. I have not thrown this bait yet. Or have I? It looks like I have. Yeah, I definitely have, because I bought this bait new. What megabass bait is this? With that diamond bill? You guys tell me. I forget. I threw it a couple times last year. I think I caught one fish on it, but it looks pretty beat up already. More than it should be. We'll see. I might need to come back to the wake baits. I'm going to try and catch up on comments because you guys are flying and I'm way behind at this point. Buzzbait is another good one. Well, I was thinking perhaps a plopper, right? If I'm going to stay on top, I've definitely got more confidence in a plopper. One, because of the hookup ratio. Two, because of the variety in cadence. I find that I get bit often on plopper style baits when I pause and then start the bait back up. So I'm almost for sure going to throw or bring a plopper of some kind. I just don't know which one. So if I had to guess, I got to say, here's that color again. The Maverick color from Berkley has a hint of purple flake in it. This is the 105 size in the Chapo. That's a great size, but I very well might just bring like the tried and true Whopper Plopper 110. Here's a bait that I was very tempted to bring out with me the other day is the Spro Cyclone, right? And this is the Cyclone Junior, but it's a mix between a buzzbait and a plopper. It's got a buzzbait style blade, but on the rear of the bait, just like you would have a plopper tail. And it's got a swivel built into the nose of the bait. So pretty cool concept. Very interesting shape, but I haven't thrown this bait yet. I bought it like last summer, I think, but my black Whopper Ploppers get beat up like nobody's business. And I've got a tremendous amount of confidence in them, especially this 110. So I also just like the sound of a Whopper Plopper a little bit better than I do a Chapo. I find that the Chapo has a very different sound at each of its speeds. And so I end up changing my retrieve speed a lot more often with a Chapo than I do with a Whopper Plopper. You know, I almost prefer to just be run and gun with a plopper style bait. Just because for me, it's not all that fun to fish them, but I do have a high degree of confidence when fishing them. So kind of like with a chatterbait, I prefer a bait that is going to be highly effective when it's fished right. I don't want to have to play around too much. So with a jackhammer, I'm fishing at a medium to medium fast speed, and I'll play around with how often I pump the reel or pop the rod in order to get the bait to do something different. But I want that sound to be the same pretty much at all times. I don't want it to be a lower, slower chatter. And the same goes for the Whopper Plopper. I'm fishing that at a medium fast retrieve speed. I want it to be pretty loud, but the Chapo sounds very different at all speeds. And so I find myself spending too much time fishing the bait to figure out how the fish want it, as opposed to just locating them and getting them to bite. Tim says, I just got some goat toads in yesterday. Haven't thrown them yet, but I have high hopes. Dude, they are a great bait. I will say that. So you guys know that I've played around a little bit with last season. I threw both of the Goat Toads and the Savage Gear Duratech Toad, and they're both good baits, I'll say that, but a disappointing feature about the Duratech Toad, while it's kind of cool that they come with a hook in the pack that's designed around the bait, and it's got a really cool looking design. A big issue with it is just how far this hook slot goes up toward the nose and how easily the nose just blows right out of the bait. And then it essentially becomes unusable. So I bought a couple packs of these. I fished them for like a week and found out that nose deal is a problem. So I was kind of very quickly disappointed in the bait, and I think it's probably better used as a trailer on a buzzbait or with a screw lock hook and not one that you have to thread through the nose of the bait. But I don't have a tremendous amount of confidence in it. Whereas the Goat Toads, and I'm going to need to restock soon because I've gone through 2 of the 3 black ones that I have, and 1 of the 3 of these purple death color ones that I have. But this bait is more streamlined. Now, perhaps doesn't take a double hook quite as well, but as a result could be that much better of a buzzbait trailer. And it also has a dugout belly, but it has a much more robust nose, and the material, the Elastec that Z-Man uses, plus the design of this nose, just allows it to be that much more durable. The action on both of them is great, but the Goat Toads is a great bait. I'll say that. Okay, so you should have confidence in taking it out and fishing it sooner than later as a buzzing toad, but also as a buzzbait trailer. Whatever you want to do with it, man. World Pop 69. Who doesn't love a little 69? I had the wonderful opportunity to take part in some of that not too long ago. Sorry for oversharing, but who doesn't love it? Can't hurt to bring a pack of what, Matt? Of what? Because I'm already losing track. When it comes to soft plastics, I'm probably going to limit myself to like 10 to 20 bags of soft plastics total, right? And then one 3,600 size box and some hooks. Like that's all I'm bringing, right? And sure, I might bring hooks and weights, but I'm bringing 2 reels, 1 rod, a box of hard baits and jigs, and maybe upwards of a dozen bags of soft plastics. That's it. And let's be honest, I'll probably have a few times to get out for a few hours, and that's probably all that I'm working with. So yeah. Bring some sweet beavers. Dude, I only have a couple packs of them total. And I don't even know where they are at the moment, but you think punching is going to be something I get into? Or you think just flipping some beavers? And again, who doesn't love some good beaver? Sorry, guys. Tim, I am sipping on some Old Forester 100. So I don't know if it has an age statement on it. It doesn't, but you'll be able to find it easily with the orange label in the liquor store. And I would say that this is a good value, surprisingly tasty, but on the sweeter side of bourbons, and it drinks really well neat. So I would not put it on a lot of ice. I did notice that the flavor profile changes drastically as you put it on ice. And even last night, my father-in-law and I did a little experiment in adding drops of water to it periodically and gradually to see how the flavor profile evolves or expands and changes as you add more water. But I find that I much prefer it neat or with a small amount of water, anywhere from 10 to 15 drops of water. That's it. But when you put an entire ice cube in there, just a standard ice cube, it dilutes the bourbon quite a bit and really dumbs it down. And for 100 proof bourbon, it drinks like it's a 90. And if you add a cube of ice and or drink it cold, like I never put my bourbon in the freezer, but if you did, it would really subdue the flavors and change the way that it drinks. So Old Forester 100, that's what it is. Yeah, Matt, I think you're right, dude. The winter was funky on the bass. Yeah, Brendan. The jitterbug, the hula popper, they're slept on. But that's because they're old school baits, right? I mean, so many baits are released every single year that a lot are going to be left in the dust. That's for sure. Dude, I've only got a couple of hula poppers and I don't even know where the heck they are. Like they don't sit in my regular box of poppers. You see me looking over to the side, I'm like, what? Where do I have those? Um, I don't know, dude. Devil's horse, torpedo. Get it out of here, Brendan. I'm not going back 30 years. Um, Tom, you picked up one of those poppers in bone. Which poppers? The dual hardcore popper? I've got it in bone as well. I'm pretty sure, at least. Dang. Haven't fished it yet, but I do have it in bone, as well as a chartreuse and purple, as well as a like IU type of color. And shoot, also chartreuse shad. It's sitting in with all my evergreen one bug poppers. I don't even know if that's the one that you were talking about, but I'm gonna try and catch up to you guys. I'm gonna have to skip some comments. I apologize, but at the same time, I don't necessarily. Tim, I am so with you on that. Megabass destroyed me because of that. Matte finish baits. I'm a big sucker for. So a lot of JDM companies do it right. A matte black, as well as matte bone perch. Matte shad is like one of my favorite colors in anything Megabass. Yeah, dude. Something I can pause. So definitely a fluke then, huh? Walking bait will be better than the Hellraiser. Yeah, because I guess the Hellraiser sinks, right? So that's a good point. All right, I'm going to try and fly through your comments. So I'm going to be a little bit quieter for the next minute or two. I'm going to try and catch up to you guys. Oh, Tim, with the BDS one recommendation, I've already decided that this BDS one in the red and gold is coming with me. This magma color hasn't been fished. I also have it in like this American shad or Japan shad, whatever they call it. I don't know what happened to the hooks on it. I never replaced the hooks on this one yet, but I did on this dude. Put a little red hook on the front. I think I've got maybe there are owners on both, but yeah, did replace the hooks on this. This is ready to be packed up, so gonna bring that, and then probably also this Bomber Shallow A that I just bought the other day for a whopping $3. But thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, gosh, is it? I'm that far behind. That red one would be perfect. I'm just gonna scroll, guys. Midwest Fisherman, good night. Good evening. What's up? Hope you're doing well. Get a trailer hook. I have some trailer hooks. I will consider throwing it on the Teckle Blade Waker. Colin Bassman. What's up, dude? Cheers to you. Hope you're doing well tonight. I'm scrolling. I'm skipping you guys. Oh, Tim. 33% jig, 33% chatterbait, 33% frog, 1% secret. My man. All right. Jig, chatterbait, which is also a jig, and frog. So you're skipping everything in the middle. You're skipping swim baits, you're skipping shallow diving crankbaits, wake baits, top waters in the way of poppers or walking baits or wake baits. Man, I don't know. That's really simplifying it. Depths 250 all day, says Colin. Yeah, not bringing a Depths 250. In fact, I don't think I even own one. I've only got a Depths 175, but I have been throwing it a bit early this season. I'll say that. Megabass Freestyle. Deal. Brendan says P70, 4.8 Kitech, weedless mag draft, chatterbait, little wake bait, speedworm, old monster, devil's horse. Can nix that. Swim jig, pitching jig, frog, and buzz bait would all be conventional stuff I'd bring. Fair enough. Fair enough, dude. Do I even have my... There we go. Do I only have two sitting in here? I might have to track down, see if I have a couple others. But this is a 4.8-inch Kitech Swing Impact Fat in the June bug that is begging to come with me. Begging to come with me. Do I have any others in this box of swim baits? I don't know if I do. Oh, come on. Be there. Be there. I've got one. I've got one. Could throw that in the box. So I have 3 of them to break. Deal. That's more than I would have thought. Now, would you guys go out of your way to bring this dude? The old Hyperlastic Dart Spin? That's kind of a Florida thing, am I right? I will say these baits I have not thrown very much since getting them when they sent me a lot of these baits. I mean, I threw some of them, right? I mean, you can see the paint wearing off of a few of these baits, but I have a bunch of them. I won't necessarily have the room to bring all of them, but 4.8-inch Keitech, deal. I'll do that. Blade Waker's no good. All right. Well, whatever, guys. I might still bring it and spend a few minutes to see how I actually like the action. Maybe fiddle around with the direction of the blade, but I need your guys' help. Don't confuse me tonight, all right? Colin says frog. Well, yeah, Colin, I've got to narrow down my frog options out of what I've got sitting here. So do I go big frog or little frog? Do I go popping frog or walking frog? I got a lot of different options, dude. Do I go with this chartreuse and black evergreen shower blows frog? Do I go with this small black gill Jackal Cara or the black and blue 6th Sense Vega frog? I mean, what color frog is most appropriate for Florida? Or do we stay on the same train of thought? Do I go with like a straight black River to Sea Bullywa or something of the sort? I mean, of course, I could bring a pad crasher in a poppin' or walking version. I could bring a Spro in a poppin' or a walk-in in black. I've got all of those. But do I throw white, black, or other when it comes to frogs? And do you have a brand in particular that you think is going to perform best? Or should I just bring black frogs and call it good and bring kind of one of each and do the walking frog or popping frog, walking frog, and then the little frog and call it good with like these 3? I don't know. There's a lot to think about tonight. Hell yeah, bring a rat. Yep. Now keep in mind, I'm not going to like high percentage areas in Florida. I won't have a tremendous amount of time. I'm going on family vacation, and I'm just going to try and sneak into some ponds close by in very northeast Florida. So I have no idea what to expect. I think this time of year, inshore and offshore saltwater fishing for a wide variety of species is kind of what most people are doing. But as you guys know, I'm going to be targeting largemouth bass in local ponds. I'm going to be taking this travel casting rod that I just bought and try and do what I like to do to target some Florida bass. So it's going to be a good time no matter what. And yeah, where the hell did clamshell just go? Here it is. 4.8-inch Kitech kind of takes up a lot of real estate. You know, I wish I had like 3 of these to just throw in my bag, but maybe I'll bring, if I've got some like black and blue 4.8-inch or whatever they call it for the rage swimmers, maybe I'll do that. You're right, man. It was the iLoud. Dude, 9:51. I'm like 30 minutes late. I'm scrolling all the way to the bottom. Screw the comments. I'm scrolling to the bottom. So, Brendan, you've said that a few times. I don't know exactly what to say. An hour and a half drive could be doable, but we'd have to meet at like sunrise or something like that. Possible. I don't know. And Matt, you're absolutely right. I said this to my wife earlier today. It took me 10 minutes to pack for our trip. We're going to be there for like 4.5 or 5 days. We're leaving tomorrow. We come back Friday evening. And I packed my clothes in like no time. And I told her it's going to take me hours to pack the baits that I think are going to be most appropriate. I have no idea where to start, although I have some hints. But I'm going to be staring at stuff for a long time. So you're absolutely right about that. Dude, I don't know that I own any June bug speed worms, but I am going to bring some speed worms. And so if these are the only 2 colors that I have in the mag speedworm, are this old purple or the sungill? What color should I bring in the Magnum speedworm? You tell me. I don't throw a lot of June bug here in Colorado. And should I bring like a lavender shad fluke or a pink fluke or a sungill fluke? I think those are the main colors that I have. Purple. Dude, I know a speedworm's a good one. But what color in those limited colors that I have? You know, I think in the standard speedworm, I've got like red bug, watermelon seed, and maybe the sungill, but not a lot of colors, you know? Do I go with the purple or do I go with the sungill? You know what, JP? I don't have June bug in everything. I have June bug in some stuff. Like I'm bringing these June bug Kitechs, but I don't have June bug in everything. I don't live in Florida. I live in Colorado, and our water is relatively clear most of the time. So, yeah, Brendan, shut up, dude. I need June bug ones. So you think I need to go to the store while I'm there? Get some June bug ones? Yeah. You're gonna need to stop it, dude. You guys stop it. Tim says green pumpkin will do. Well, I could probably make do. I know that I have the oh, almost just spilled my beer. What about this bait right here? This is one that I have not thrown very much. I threw it a little bit last year, and I definitely like the action of it. But the Z-Man Turbo Fatties, this is a little bit closer to the Magnum Speedworm than it is the traditional Speedworm. It's a fat bait. And it's got a good kicker on it that is exactly like what you see on the goat. And it's got a great kick to it. It's a really medium-sized bait at 6 inches. So it's right in between the Speedworm and the Magnum Speedworm. It's a good bait. If you're saying green pumpkin will work in Florida, I was kind of kicking myself for not having this in black and blue or in Junebug, but I don't. I've only got it in like watermelon red and green pumpkin. So do I bring it? Yay or nay? You're kind of making me think that I should bring it. So we'll see. Bama Bug. I have to think about it. The local Wally World. Yeah, I could probably do that. 5-inch Junebug Senko. Dude, I hate to throw a Senko. I've been throwing stick baits on a weighted wacky rig the last couple of weeks, like occasionally, and I don't like it, dude. I only throw a Senko when I really have to. I'd rather throw a drop shot than a Senko of any kind. So sorry to say. Not going to bring any stick baits. Shut up, chicken fried steak. I am really not trying to go to the store. You know, I'm gonna bring what I can, and I'm gonna make do with what I've got. I'm not going to the store. So Bama Bug and Tramp Stamp, you're right, are great colors, and I definitely have some baits in those colors. So I can track those down after tonight's stream and figure out what works. I mean, of course, I could bring the Magnum or the Magnum Finesse Worm. I've always got it in a bunch of different colors. I've got it in red bug, purple passion, green pumpkin, blue flash, and black, all sitting right here right now. And it's one of my favorite do everything style worms, but I don't want to throw a worm all that often. This is a 5-inch worm that can do a lot of different stuff. It's as good on a shaky head and a Nika rig as it is on a wacky rig or a weighted wacky rig. In my opinion, if I could only have like 3 soft plastic worms, this would be in that conversation for sure. Is the Magnum Finesse Worm from Zoom. You know, and there's a reason that it and the Zoom Swamp Crawler are up on this wall right now, right? I mean, they are go-to baits for me. I always have them in multiple colors. Pumpkin, green pumpkin, watermelon moon dust, among other colors. Some of my favorite baits. You know what, Matt? I really hope that's not the case. But what are the odds that I'm going to bring all black and blue and Junebug stuff, all black and blue, all black, and then I'm not going to catch a single fish while I'm down there, and I'm going to come back and be mad at you guys for having given me bad advice. Junebug or go home. Yeah, that might be the deal for me, right? Is what I was just saying. No, I'm most likely not going to go to the store. I am there to spend time with my family on the beach. for the day. So we're gonna take a boat trip one day where I'm gonna forcefully bring my rod and tell the guy that I want to catch some fish. So we'll probably fish some saltwater those days, and I have no idea if he'll give me lures or live bait or what, but I am gonna mix it up probably once or twice. Otherwise, I'm going to escape probably a couple of times for a couple of hours each when it is not super inconvenient for the rest of my family uh, for me to go fishing. So I don't even know exactly where I'm going. If you guys want to help do some research for me and figure out which ponds are perhaps going to be most productive in a 20 or 30-minute drive of Amelia Island, Florida. So I'm going to be like 30 to 45 minutes northeast of Jacksonville. We're flying into Jacksonville and driving the roughly 45 minutes to our hotel. We're staying at the Omni Hotel in their, I don't know what they're called, villas or, more like townhome style places instead of just hotel rooms. But yeah, should be fun. I'm going to try and get out a couple of times just for the fun of it. See if I can catch some Florida fish. I don't have high expectations, but I'm planning on bringing a variety of baits and mixing it up and, assessing the situation when I get there. We'll figure it out. I'm going to bring some swim baits. I'm going to bring some top waters and some shallow diving crankbaits. I'm going to bring some swim jigs. I'm going to bring some soft plastics, including some soft plastic swim baits, and that's probably going to be it. So hopefully that's going to do it. Top water poppers, top water ploppers, maybe a walking bait and a wake bait, and the blade waker, and that's going to cover it. Couple of like super shallow diving crankbaits, a couple of swim jigs, flipping jigs, maybe a Texas rig type of action, because I'll bring some plastics that can be flipped or swum with a little bit of weight on them. And that's going to be about it. I'm bringing, I think, 2 reels. Like I said, one with 50-pound braid and some mono leader if need be. And then I'm going to bring one with like 20-pound fluorocarbon. Just trying to like really cover my bases with a minimal amount of real estate and call it good. And I know maybe I didn't say frogs, but at least a few frogs, right? And I think I might have skipped your comments, but did anybody have any specific advice when it came to frog colors? Should I be throwing a white frog? Should I be throwing a chartreuse frog? I know technically this covers both bases, right? Chartreuse and black. Black. Should I be throwing a different color frog, or is black good to go? Because I do want to be throwing a frog, right? I have this reel spooled up with 50-pound braid, like for that reason primarily. But I've got the mono leader already tied on there in the event that I'm going to want to throw a popper or a walking bait or a wake bait first. Although I throw wake baits on straight braid a lot. So I very well might just cut that leader off. But in the event that I see what I see and want to throw a popper, I've got the leader tied on there already. So I'm trying to stay one step ahead a little bit, but we'll see. Brendan, no problem. You got to get 4 hours of sleep. So good luck on the water tomorrow. Good talking tonight. Thank you very much for the advice. And we'll talk to you soon. I'll see you next weekend. I will be on almost for sure next Friday. If not Friday, Saturday for sure. So thank you for joining in. If you guys can find this beer anywhere, and you like a slightly heavier hitting lager. Now, this is not like red or anything like that, uh, but it's also not weedy. This is just has a little bit more depth to a traditional light lager. Um, the Fun Slinger from Breckenridge Brewery is good. I'll say that. Give it a shot. Jermaine, what are you doing up tonight, dude? It's freaking late. Saturday night at 12:30 your time. What are you doing? My boy Jermaine. I appreciate you. Thank you for jumping in for a second, even if you're like half asleep right now. But good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. I don't know if you saw your boy Frank on Debo's stream earlier tonight, but he was. That's worth a replay. I'm gonna replay it at some point because I was only half watching for the majority of tonight, but Jermaine is sleep streaming, sleep watching, sleep streaming. Yeah, you're probably right. Jermaine is getting after it after a few drinks. Well, my man, I'm having a few drinks while we're on stream tonight. Quite literally, I'm drinking beer and bourbon at the same time. Cheers. I'm not chasing. I'm enjoying both simultaneously, right? Drink some bourbon. That's tasty. Got a little blood orange and brown butter, sage flavors to go with that. And then I'm also drinking some beer and enjoying it. It's all delicious, dude. Cheers. You're going to sip to that? Dude, pour one up. I will continue to imbibe and join in with you for, a little bit longer. This is my third little pour of bourbon. I've only got this much left in the bottle. I very well might top it off tonight. We'll see. Let's just go, dude. Where's Jermaine when you need him? Oh, shit. I don't know if that was a smart move. Topping it off, okay, with a big pour. We're going to do it. So, Jermaine, we've been talking tonight a lot about what I should bring to Florida. I'm going to Florida tomorrow for 5 days, not for fishing, but just for a family vacation. But because of who we are as addicts and fishing, bass fishing, obsessed people, I'm going to bring some fishing gear. In fact, I went out of my way to spend $150 plus tax on a travel fishing rod to bring for this trip. I'm going to bring 2, if not maybe 3 reels with me, one with braid, one with fluoro. And I've got a limited amount of space to bring for baits. So I'm going to bring a 3600 size box with hard baits and jigs in it. And I'm going to bring some soft plastics. Do you have any specific ideas? I've got topwater poppers. I've got ploppers. I've got chatterbaits and swim jigs. I've got frogs. I've got other jigs. I'm going to bring a few other types of jigs, and then I'm going to bring a bunch of soft plastics, as well as some super shallow diving crankbaits and maybe some wake baits, frogs, things like, or rats and things like that. Do you have any ideas? Jermaine already fell asleep. Couple frogs, speed worm. Dude. Yeah, those are good ideas. Yeah, JP, it's we could just call this a healthy pour. Jermaine, did you pour one this big or what? Where you at? Dave, it depends. If I finish this bourbon and you guys ask me the right question before I sign off tonight, I could definitely get all life coach on you tonight. If you want, dude. I'm willing to give some advice and give you my personal opinions. Last weekend, my wife and I did a little bit of it was a vacation / marriage retreat. We went pretty deep, and yeah, so I've got a lot to share if you're wanting it, but that's totally up to you. Now, Jermaine, I'm also bringing some jig heads to go with like a 4.8-inch Kitech in a June bug. I'm gonna bring some Z-Man Turbo Fatties since maybe I'll bring the Old Purple Magnum UV Speedworms. I should give you guys a side-by-side comparison so you can see just how much bigger. No, dude, I'm not bringing a sleeper gill. So take a look at this. This is what I wanted you to see, is that from a thickness standpoint, the Turbo Fatties is pretty much the same as the Magnum Ultra Vibe Speedworm, right? It's just not quite as long. It's about 1 inch shorter, right? This is a 7-inch bait. This is a 6-inch bait. But you'd be surprised at how the kicking action is somewhat similar. So, yeah, I just don't know whether to bring these Magnum Ultra Vibe Speedworms in the purple color in addition to the Turbo Fatties in the green pumpkin. Oh, shit. How did I just fix the bag of these Magnum Ultra Vibe Speedworms and not put the original one back in the bag? That's not good, guys. Gator's Adventure says, I just stopped drinking so I enjoy a good vape. What does that mean, dude? Do you live in a legal state? When you're talking about vaping, are you talking about THC or what, dude? I will say I am nicotine addicted myself. So I've got this high school-esque, even though I'm double that age, Juul pod intentionally, right? So that I do not get super addicted, although it has not been super effective. Read the comments above, says Daniel. Really? Pass the doobie. All right. Well, yeah, that was me back in the day. I did not read the comments. You guys are flying. Brendan's still in here. What's he doing? I hate to say it, but Jermaine, this is not racist, but what a black thing to say, dude. You're poured up, dude. That is so Baltimore. We used to say "poed up," "poed up." That is hilarious. And what I'm drinking is not fancy either, dude. Old Forester 100. I was talking about this earlier. This is like same price point as Makers, right? We're talking, I think I paid $26 for the bottle. But yes, white chatterbaits. Brendan, stop confusing me, dude. Too many dark baits. Dude, guys, I'm gonna freak out if you're confusing me right now. And yes, it's grassy, but Brendan, you better stop it right now if you're still in here. Cut it out and go to sleep. You're 18 years old. You don't need nicotine, you don't need alcohol. You don't need to give me bad advice when it comes to white baits versus black baits. Just let me be, dude. Dude, poed up. I am glad to hear that you're poed up because technically I am too. I've got a couple drops left in here. Even though I've got a lot of drops left over in this glass and need to work on that, but I can't help it when I see a little bit left over. Yeah. Well, that used to be my stream. You know, if you were to go back like 2 or 3 years, um, I think Matt used to call me out for looking high on my streams, and whether or not I denied it or agreed is not relevant, but was definitely a part of the equation. If you were to go back to like from when I started 2017, 2016 until 2020, um, it was definitely a thing, right? But we've talked about it before. I don't need to get all life coachy on you, if you will, about the fact that I have had an unhealthy relationship with marijuana over the years, but that's a thing. Living in Colorado, it's a little easy to pass the Dutchie not only to your left hand side or your right hand side, but to yourself all the time. So yeah, that's a Chicago THC. Nice. You guys do what you got to do. You know, it might be new to you guys. No, Chris, it's leaving at like 1:30 p.m. So I'm not leaving till 10:30 a.m. at the latest. We're parking the car off-site. We're taking the shuttle. We're chilling in the airport. We've got kids that are gonna read or listen to audiobooks. We're doing our whole thing, but I do have to pack my bags and such tonight. But it's 10:44 my time right now, and so it's all good. No worries. Jermaine says he's gonna try and fish in the morning before 11:30. Uh, that's fine. You have work at 11:30, which means you probably need to be on the water at what 9 o'clock. And given that you're poured up or poed up, depending on how you say it, it's not likely to happen. But you should set your alarm or set 2 alarms, if you will, maybe at like 8 and 8:30, and get your ass out of bed and go do a little bit of fishing before work. That would be awesome. Uh, Now, discipline is where it's at. I can't speak to that because I'm hit or miss when it comes to that. But good luck, sir. Dude, drinking straight from a mason jar? You're making me feel classy right now. Only the best brothers get promoted to uncle. That's what's up. I also have back pain. And I have a CPAP. And yeah, sleeping is good. That's too bad, Tim. I'm sorry to hear that. Uh was it you or someone else? Who got a DUI recently? Tim, was it you? I'm sorry to I shouldn't ask that. Don't feel obligated to answer. Yep, my wife is the opposite, dude. She's never been into it. I was always just the rebel that decided to do what I do, and she didn't love it. But yeah, Jermaine's gonna have a pounding headache in the morning. Probably true. And he's also gonna sell some mad cars. Jermaine, you're gonna have a great day at work tomorrow. Tim, it wasn't you. Might have been Daniel. Might have been Dave. It was Dave. Don't worry about it, guys. You know, let's all just wish Dave well. Dave's got stuff going on. He's figuring it out. Uh, that was me 15 years ago, right? When I was 20 years old. Uh, that's not a fun place to be. It's expensive. It's not fun legally. It was Matt as well. It happens. You got to learn from it. Jermaine with the wisdom while he's pulled up, you know. I I think it's real. We all figure it out. Dave's figuring it out right now. Um, you got to be responsible, and you actually do have to learn from it. I think perhaps Jermaine's advice is the most wise, even though he's drunk right now. Um, Matt and I both feel your pain, but what Jermaine is saying is learn from it, figure it out. It's not fun, you know, it's expensive. You got to go through the entire process and you got to feel guilty. You got to figure it out and it sucks. So, yeah, that was me when I was 20 years old. And it probably wouldn't have happened if I was over 21 because I blew under the legal limit. Or maybe exactly at the legal limit. But regardless, it doesn't matter. Um, you ought to learn your lesson. You should know where the lines are. You should just take Uber or Lyft. You should call somebody for a ride. You should do the right thing or not go out if you're already feeling it. Uh, and that's the reality of it. Sucks. And Dave, I'm sorry to hear it. I don't want to say it sucks to suck, but it kind of does, you know? Yeah. Tim, you're right, dude. Dude, Jermaine, I hate to say it on live stream, but that happened to me like I don't know, just a month or two ago. And I'm not saying that like I was hammered or anything like that, but I the Denver Nuggets, let's be honest. I haven't been on since the Denver Nuggets won the NBA championship. Cheers to the Denver Nuggets. Am I right? Are you guys Denver Nuggets fans? Did you watch the NBA championship? Do you know what just happened? We won our first NBA championship in 40 years. That's remarkable. And I followed the entire thing all the way through. I am a fan, and it was super fun to be a part of. Now, I went to a friend's house like during the second series of the playoffs, and I left his house. I left my wallet there. Yes, Jokic is crazy and Jamal is a bad man. Thank you, Jermaine. You're absolutely right about that. Um, I was not even 5 minutes from his house, driving home from his house, and he texted me saying that I left my wallet at his house. So I flipped a Yui to drive back to his house, and I got pulled over immediately. Horrible timing, right? I mean, I've had some to drink, and I'm kind of freaking out because this is the first time I've gotten pulled over in 10 years. I don't speed, I don't drive crazy. I don't get pulled over on a regular basis. It's been a long time since I've gotten pulled over. And I've got a little alcohol in my system. So I'm freaking out, right? And the worst part is I left my wallet at his house. So I'm pulling up the app on my phone to pull up my ID and my insurance card. I'm freaking out. And I tell the officer, yeah, hold on. Like I left my wallet at my friend's house. I'm headed right back there. I'm looking it up right now on the app. I'll have it in a second. And this whole stop lasts 5 to 10 minutes, but it felt like forever that he was looking up my information and coming back to the car, asking me if I had it yet, which I didn't. I was figuring out how to log in to the app. And at the point that he came up like the second or third time, he just told me that I could go and to be safe, right? So I drove back to my friend's house. I got my wallet. I drove home. I got home safe. And it was fine. But it freaked me the fuck out. I almost lost my mind. And it didn't not register to me until a week later when I went back to his house to watch a Nuggets game 2 or 3 games later. Like all of a sudden it started to come back to me like, oh shit, this is where I flipped a Yui. This is where he pulled me over. This is where I actually pulled over and where we had the whole deal. It like everything was such a blur from that moment. Like it was hard for me to explain to people what had happened until after the fact. It's weird, but I've been so incredibly responsible for the last 15 years. I do not believe in driving drunk. It's a real thing. So Dave's right. Don't do it. Do not drive drunk. Tim, what are you talking about? There's a guy in your club, your bass club or your dance club, your late night drinking dance club. Yeah. You're taking Jamal over Curry. Well, dude, that's perhaps a little bit aggressive, but I appreciate that. I mean, I'm not gonna get mad at you for it. Daniel, you don't have any Kentucky teams? Neither does Matt? Dude, that fucking sucks. Maybe you guys should just follow Colorado and Denver teams. I don't know what to say. I grew up like a sports fanatic, right? Denver Broncos, Colorado Avalanche, specifically, but also Colorado Rockies and Denver Nuggets. Like I have always been a fan. And I went to the Colorado Rockies World Series against the Boston Red Sox in 2007, and that was horrible. And I was a big fan of the Nuggets in the late 2000s when Carmelo Anthony was like our guy. But it hasn't been until now that the Nuggets have actually been a thing, let alone won a championship. It's been forever. So it's super fun to be, dare I say, on the bandwagon of loving Denver Nuggets games. I I don't know what to say. I've been somewhat of a fair weather fan when it comes to Denver Nuggets. No, I do not watch University of Kentucky, Daniel, and you can be as much as you want into it, but I'm not. Dude, Jamal Murray is a special player, but so is Steph Curry. So yeah, I mean, he doesn't get picked on, but Steph Curry does for good reason, right? I mean, he's been a stellar player for 5, 7 years, right? I mean, they've won multiple championships, 3 championships in the last 5 or 6 years, and because they're killers. So good for them. Tim says, "Yeah, I figured the Bass Club pretty much went without saying. Now I was watching my dance club live stream. I would have actually typed in Bass. Well, guys, I've drank a relatively tremendous amount of alcohol tonight. Technically, only one beer, but like 4 whiskeys. Um, I'm gonna dip out here in a second. I have to pee. We've been on here for an hour and 52 minutes. I appreciate you guys. And I sound like I have been on for too long and I'm slurring a little bit. Matt says, I think I was pushed so much into sports at a young age that I pretty much lost the taste for it. And that's fair. Jermaine, you're still alive. You're still awake. I appreciate you, dude. Dude, it is late. It is like 1 o'clock your time. Thank you so much. I have no idea what I'm gonna do in figuring out what to throw this weekend, but Fenwick HMG, let's hope that it holds up. I've got some soft plastic, some hard baits. You guys have been a help. I appreciate it. And whoops a daisy. Sorry if you heard that. Chris says, I think the next 60 minutes might be the best. I could put you on pause and go pee and come back and just be an absolute idiot, but I'm probably not going to do that. Even as I stumble through saying, I'm not going to do that. Oh, Jermaine, thank you. How sick would that be if I caught a 10-pounder? That would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous. Well, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your Sunday tomorrow. And I doubt you guys are going anywhere this weekend. Maybe some of you guys are. Safe travels if you are. But Tim, thank you for the well wishes. I will. And I look forward to it. Daniel says, take a few confidence baits, make them work for you. Thank you, Dave. Don't leave the house, Dave. That's rude for me to say, but I appreciate you guys very much. Cheers. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you next weekend. Okay. I will be on next weekend for sure. Cheers. Peace, guys.